Hello everyone, Steven here from Redolessence, and welcome back to another fragrance review. In this video, I'm very happy to be sharing with you my thoughts on a brand new fragrance from the house of Zoologist, and the fragrance is called Beaver. So here's the bottle. This fragrance was released in 2014, just this year, and the perfumer for this fragrance is Bartlett. Now, the creative director for this company, which is based out of Toronto, Canada, by the way, is Victor Wong. Victor Wong is also a member of various online fragrance communities. He also happens to be a very good friend of mine, and he did consult the help of a couple of award-winning perfumers to create fragrances for his brand. So the one who created this fragrance is Bartlett, and Paul Kyler created the other two fragrances, which are Panda and Rhinoceros. So as you can tell, zoology is the study of animals, and the Zoologist brand creates fragrances that are inspired by different animals. So Rhinoceros is a very leathery scent, Panda features the note of bamboo, it's a rather lighter scent, and this one has an animalic quality to it, and of course Castoreum, which is a type of beaver musk, is used in many fragrances. Now, I do want to mention that despite the name, none of these perfumes or fragrances actually use animal ingredients, so they are vegetarian slash vegan, if you will. So if you had any concerns about using products containing animal products, these do not contain any. So I'm going to let you know what I think of this fragrance in just a bit. Next up, let's take a look at the presentation. On the box for Beaver by Zoologist, you have the insignia up here at the top, the name of the company. You have a sticker here in the front identifying the fragrance with a quirky little image in the middle, and then you have the name of the fragrance and the concentration, which is 60 milliliters or 2 ounces. You have the logo and the name over here on the side once again, the ingredients on the back, nothing at the bottom. So you have this little silk flap here where you pull it to expose the inside of the package, and then you have this foam padding on the inside with the silhouette of the bottle carved into it, and it rests in there very nicely and securely. That's it as far as the box goes. As far as the bottle goes, really nice unique shape to it, kind of constructed at a slant here. 2 ounce bottle. You have a sticker here in the front, no information at the bottom. You have the cap with this faux leather band, if you will, covering the perimeter of the cap. Cap comes off. It's actually very snug on there, so you can lift it up from the cap without fears of it falling or coming apart. And this is one of the best distributions that I've seen in a fragrance. Covers a very large surface area. And that has pretty much been the presentation for Beaver by Zoologist. Beaver opens up with a very strong animalic presence. If you're a fan of animalic fragrances along the line of maybe like some of the more animalic Roja Doves, Oud 27 by Le Labo, Leather Oud by Christian Dior, please make sure you give this one a try. This is a very powerful animalic fragrance. What I like about this one, though, despite the fact that it's so animalic, it's not necessarily fecal. Now, there are a lot of fragrances which contain indole, which is found in jasmine, and I believe some other white florals, which give the fragrance a very fecal smell. This one lacks that aspect of it. So even though it smells animalic, and the animalic nuances carry this maturity along with the composition, it doesn't compromise the wearability. And I like that it's creative, but at the same time it's wearable, and you can still wear it out in public without the fear necessarily of scaring somebody away. Now, of course, it's not just that Castoreum note that it contains. Castoreum is a type of beaver musk, and it's a synthetic beaver musk that's used in this fragrance, but you also have some other notes which really contribute to the wearability and versatility of the fragrance. You have the note of linden blossom, which I think comes across quite strongly in this fragrance. Not as strong as it's found in some other fragrances like Pretty Machine by Kerosene, but what it does in this fragrance is it gives it this bright floral feel, and the note of Castoreum itself is also very bright in its olfactory nature. So you have the bright nuances of both of these notes coming together to really create this bright accord, if you will, that contributes to the overall tone of the fragrance. Linden blossom, though, also known as lime blossom, has a honeyed-like facet to it. And honeyed, of course, or honey, the note of honey, is animalic in nature. So not only does it contribute to a bright tone in the fragrance, it also contributes to the animalic tone, although while still not smelling overly dirty or fecal or anything like that. Although I would be I don't know if I want to call it raunchy just yet, but I think it kind of has like that dirty quality to it, but it's still very wearable. Now, all of this is lying on a bed of iris, and of course iris has a waxy presence and it can come across a little balmy, but what it does in this fragrance is it really serves to clean things up. So it's animalic but also deceptive in how animalic it can be. You have those notes, there's a little bit of citrus in the opening, doesn't last for more than a few seconds unfortunately, and as this fragrance starts to dry down, you get a vanillic presence that starts to come through, which I guess contributes to the overall amber accord of this fragrance. You also get a little bit of cedarwood in the dry down as well. The most imaginative thing about this fragrance, because the zoology fragrances, in my humble opinion, are very imaginative, is the use of an imaginary note by the name of ash. So when you smell it, it has an ashy smell to it. Now, what does ash necessarily smell like? In this fragrance, it kind of has like this essence of like a residual smoke, or something that just finished being burned. And I think that the ashy smell that this fragrance puts forth contributes to the overall elegant aroma that you get from this. So again, it has this formality to it. It has this formal presence to it. So it's animalic, but at the same time, it's evocative and reminiscent of a lot of classic scents that were out, you know, maybe earlier on in the previous century, you know, in the 1900s. And that classic smell really contributes to the mature and elegant feel of the fragrance, as is conveyed by the image of the beaver dressed in a suit and tie. So I think that this is a very unique scent. I like how it's animalic, but at the same time, the versatility is not compromised. You can still wear this one and feel confident about wearing it, and I certainly do, and I look forward to wearing this in the future. So thank you very much for watching. Last up, we have the rating. First up, we have uniqueness and overall smell, and I ended up giving Beaver by Zoologist an 8 out of 10. I love the fact that this fragrance retains its animalic properties all the while still being very versatile and wearable. I feel like a lot of fragrances could compromise their versatility because of how strong or fecal the animalic quality in that fragrance is. With this one, however, it retains a perfect balance. The only reason I took some points off is because I do think that this fragrance, despite how unique it is, could potentially lack a compliment factor. But please keep in mind that your ability to get compliments on a fragrance will undeniably and irrefutably depend on your ability to carry yourself and be sociable and approachable. So for that reason, I ended up giving it an 8 out of 10. Next up, we have longevity. Also gave this fragrance an 8 out of 10. This is eau de parfum concentration. I get about 7 to 8 hours, so I ended up giving it an 8. Next up, we have projection. Also gave this fragrance an 8 out of 10. I think that the projection is moderate for this fragrance. It will project within an arm's length. It does start to sit closer to the skin at about the 2-hour mark, but I think part of the reason why this fragrance carries this elegance with it is because of the subtlety in its projection. I think that this fragrance could possibly choke somebody out if it were a beast mode projector, and because of the compositional nature, I actually like where the projection is. Next up, we have versatility. I ended up giving this fragrance a 7 out of 10. First off, it is a unisex scent. I think that this would work better on an older individual, perhaps somebody in their 30s or 40s, because it does convey a sense of maturity with it. I think in terms of season, this one would work great all year round. I probably just wouldn't wear this in the dead of summer or on really hot days. I'm talking about like in the 90s or the 100s, because the performance will be amped up and it could possibly choke you out. Just make sure that you apply in moderation. I think in terms of social scenarios, it would work really well in a shirt and tie or suit and tie. I probably just wouldn't wear this one casually or on a night out. I would tend to reach for something a little bit sweeter for a night out. And so lastly, we have presentation. I ended up giving this fragrance a 10 out of 10. Presentation is phenomenal. The distribution on the atomizer is crazy. The bottle is beautiful, unique shape. The box is also very sturdily constructed with the foam padding on the inside. I just think it looks great. Ended up giving it a 10 out of 10. Overall, I'm going to give Beaver by Zoologist an 8 out of 10. I think that this is a great fragrance. Really nice animalic quality, all the while not smelling fecal, so the wearability and the versatility of the fragrance is not compromised because of that. Very unique scent, great addition to my collection, really happy to own a full bottle. So there you have it. That was my review of Beaver by Zoologist. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to rate and subscribe for future videos and frequent giveaways. Once again, thank you very much for watching. This has been Steven with another fragrance review from Redolessence. See you soon.